Hello to you, beautiful people. My name is Noa Lakshmi, and I'm here to elevate humanity for a better world. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are a returning viewer to my channel, then thank you so much for coming back. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. And I'm so glad that you're here and that you found my videos. And I use astrology as a tool to help us navigate through this experience that we call life. And astrology is so powerful in that way that it can help us individually in our own personal life, and also to have a better understanding in seeing the bigger picture of what's happening for us collectively and globally. So thank you for being here, because one by one we are elevating humanity and creating a better world for us and for our future generations. Yes, I'm coming back to you. I apologize for skipping a week. I felt so not good about it. I was in an astrology conference actually in Costa Rica, a week-long astrology conference with a great astrologer called Kai Pacha, that put together an amazing gathering of beautiful people from all over the world, and really amazing astrologers and amazing people. And I'm just coming out of it. I promised to make a video last week talking about the full moon and the big shift that is taking place in the cosmos, and I'm going to talk about that. The full moon happened, and I'll mention it a little bit, but what I want to talk about today is that major shift that took place on May 10th. I'll dive into that and a few more things that are happening today and then this week. But my apologies for not posting a video last week. I just didn't get to it. There was so much going on, and yeah, that's what's up. We all going through these processes of releasing and letting go of whatever it is, and especially self-criticism and self-judgment. And I always like to be on top of things, so it didn't feel good to me. But here we are. So, okay, there's a lot going on. Of course there is, right? In astrology and in life, there's so much going on. The first thing that I want to start with, though, and it is going to be a bit of a longer video, just giving you the heads up, so be prepared. The shift that took place on May 10th, the nodes of the moon switched into new signs. So the nodes of the moon, north node and south node of the moon, stay in two signs, a certain axis, for 18 months. Okay, and that's the cycle. Those are the cycles of the nodes, and every time they switch a sign, the universe kind of changes gears. The south node and the north node represent the destiny line, so to speak. The south node represents the past and what we are releasing, what we are stepping away from, and what are we stepping towards, and that is the north node. That is the destiny. Now I want to make a clarification here between fate and destiny, and where free will actually plays a part. Okay, and that's why even with astrology, I always tell my clients, it's not set in stone. It's not set in stone. There is the place of choice. And no matter what's going on in your chart or what's going on collectively, we can work with those energies rather than being a passive passenger, of those energies. So the north node of the moon shows us, the destiny, where is the universe pointing us towards. And you can apply it obviously personally in your own life, and then collectively, but the collective destiny really depends on the individual choices, and each individual, how they choose to live their lives, and why do they make the choices that they make, and where are those choices coming from. So the collective destiny really does rely on each and every one of us individually. And so it's not just fate. This is what the astrology says, so be it. It's like, okay, what can I do with those energies to make the best of it? the nodes shifted from the south node has been in Pisces and the north node has been in Virgo for the last 18 months. Okay, and we had 2015 and especially 2016. It was such a year of purification. It was so much about releasing, purifying, cleansing, and having this reality check. What in my life is still hidden, is still very unconscious, is maybe an addicted behavior, something that I keep repeating over and over again, and I don't really know why. All those things came up to the surface, and the North Node that was in Virgo was the invitation from the universe to cleanse, to purify, to be of service to you and to the collective. How can you be of service? Become healthier, take care of your well-being, purify your body, purify your mind, be grounded in reality. Take all the spiritual knowledge, the spiritual teachings, and all that you know, and bring it into reality and live embodiment. It was such a year of learning embodiment. How do I embody all that I know? And how do I purify all of these wounds and things that are still sitting in the unconscious? How can I bring it into the conscious level and consciously work with it? That was Pisces and Virgo, and that's why it was, let's say, not the easiest, right? The 2016 was. And then we come into 2017, and the first 3 months of this year were quite intense too. It was kind of like a wrapping up of all these energies of Pisces and Virgo. And now the nodes have shifted to Leo and Aquarius. The south node is in Aquarius and the north node is in the sign of Leo. And this is incredible when it comes to what you're here to do in your own personal life now focus on for the next year and a half, and then collectively how is it gonna manifest for all of us as a global family. And the way I see it, Leo is all about the heart. It really is. It's really all about shining, be the star of your life, but not from an ego place, not from an intellectual place. That's the south node in Aquarius, the intellectual mind, the kind of like know-it-all. It's like the scientist, it's the tech person that, oh, I know everything because I have smarts. And what you know from books, research, internet, all that stuff, that's all good. But there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. The true wisdom that we are here to live from is the wisdom within our heart. And in order to get to that heart of yours, you needed to go through the purification and the cleansing to release the layers that are still blocking you from your heart, to fully love yourself, to fully love other people. But most importantly is fully loving yourself. And when you fully love yourself in that way, there's this sense of confidence that is not egoic. That again, it's not a concept, it's not a mental thing. It's this embodiment, and it's that feeling, it's that knowing of who you are. That's your light. That's your light, that's your own personal light. And it can only shine fully when it's coming from a place of pure love for yourself and a heart that is completely open. Leo is the inner child. Leo is the inner child. A lot of the work that we were doing with the Pisces Virgo axis was also reconnecting to your innocence, understanding that unconscious patterns, behaviors, and whatnot are really rooted in an inner child, in this innocent part of you that is sitting in the dark. And that was the process of releasing the layers and getting back into that innocent part in you, that inner child. And now in Leo is the time to let that inner child play. So much of Leo is about playfulness and joy, and to not take life so seriously. Like, yeah, do your work, do what you need to do, but we've got to keep things light as well. And that's what Leo reminds us. It's the playfulness, and it's a heart. It's coming from the heart. When you look at children play, having fun, being creative, it's all coming from a pure place of love. And Leo, the higher expression of Leo is that. Because Leo can very much be egotistical. It's all about me. Put me in the spotlight. I need people's approval. I need people's validation. I need people to cheer for me. That's the shadowy part of Leo. And it's important to recognize that and to mention that, and to know where you are in your life, where you're at when it comes to that. And to remember, Leo reminds us that sense of self-love, to give yourself that love, that you don't need validation from other people. You don't need any recognition from other people. It's going to come, but it doesn't matter, because you know your worth, you know your value, you know who you are. You love yourself so deeply and fully that your light just shines effortlessly, and you live in this place of joy and playfulness effortlessly. You don't need to try hard to do it. There's just lightness within you, and that's what opens up the space for you to be creative, to really step fully into your purpose. Leo is ruled by the sun. It's the sun, that's where the destiny right now, the North Node being in Leo. If we're looking at an 18 months period of the sun being the ruler of the North Node, the sun being the ruler of the destiny, the future of where God is pointing us towards. The sun. What is the sun? It's the life-giving force. It's the life-giving force. Without the sun, we would not have any life here on earth. Think about that for a moment. And that's the destiny, and that's what we want to connect with. That energy, that solar energy. So it's your solar plexus in your body. In your physical body, it's your solar plexus, the place of confidence, the place of will. We are looking also at a time to connect with your will, and then ask yourself, well, what do I want to create? What do I want to create in my life? Where is your creativity? How can you bring it forth? How is your creativity serving your mission, what you're here to fulfill? How is your creativity connected to your inner child and your ability to play and your ability to really live the way you want to live? Because Leo can be selfish, but it's not about being selfish. It's about living the way you want to live. So moving away from Aquarius, which is more of like this group consensus. There's something beautiful about groups and community. It's not that we want to drop that. We still want to gather. We still want to build communities. We still want to be part of groups. But what kind of groups? We want to be part of groups and communities that support the individual, that support your own light. There's no competition. There's no judgments. There's no, oh, you've got to do this. You've got to follow certain rules to be part of the group or the community or the religion or the church. That's what we want to step away from. Aquarius can be very fixed and very rigid. In the old days, before Uranus was discovered, Aquarius was ruled by Saturn. And that is very, by the book, limitations, very strict, can be very conservative, very traditional. So Aquarius, even though it's this, liberation and freedom and actually doing things out of the box, there's an aspect to Aquarius that can be very rigid, very fixed. It's my way or the highway kind of thing. And again, it's like the scientist. I know it all. I know it all. And when you're in the place of I know it all, there's no curiosity. There's no, that the little child wanting to know, wanting to discover. There's a sense of playfulness to that comes with Leo, with that inner child, that is not like, oh, I know everything. I'm good. And this is how life is. This is how I'm supposed to behave. This is how you're supposed to behave. That's what we're stepping away from. And that's the invitation from the universe, is to find the groups that support you individually, that support your light, that actually help you to shine brighter, to be in your purpose and in your mission, and to bring your creativity to life. If you're part of any type of environment, group, community that actually suppresses your light, that puts that light in the back corner, you really want to look at that, and you want to question that maybe, and pay attention to that, and move towards your own individual expression, your own individual joy. If the group that you are part of, whatever the group may be, doesn't support that, that's what we're going to be looking at for the next year and a half, and to create from your own heart, And we still, Saturn is in Sagittarius still until the end of 2017, reminding us that we've got to build our life, we've got to manifest our own reality through our own truth, your own truth. Nobody else's truth but your own truth. Not anybody else's religion but your own truth. Not anybody else's beliefs, your own truth. Keep coming back to that and create your life from that place. So that's the big shift that is taking place, and it is a breath of fresh air to some degree. Having the North Node in Leo, it's really time to celebrate who you are. It's time to celebrate who you are. It's always time to celebrate who you are, regardless of where the North Node is. But it's now the next 18 months, the energy that we get to work with is very helpful for that. Okay, that celebration of who you are, without being afraid to be looked at as narcissistic or selfish and all that crap. It's time to really let it go. Really time to let it go. And be okay with loving yourself, with shining who you are, with bringing your creativity onto the stage, no matter what. And to know your worth and to know your value, to live as that king. Leo is the king and the queen of the jungle, the lion and the lioness. So it is the time for the kings and the queens to emerge, the king within you, the queen within you, to emerge from within and to fully be expressed and to create and to be who you are. That is the North Node in Leo, South Node in Aquarius. So good. Now I want to mention here a couple of things that are happening this week. So today is the 15th of May. It's Monday. And on the 18th, so two of our personal planets, Venus and Mercury, are coming out of the shadow zone. We had Venus in retrograde for 40 days. We had Mercury in retrograde for 3 weeks. They're already in direct motion, but in astrology we have the zone that they covered while they were in retrograde. Venus on the 18th is coming out of that zone completely. 13 degrees of Aries, that's where she stopped to go retrograde back in March. So on the 18th of May, in 3 days, Venus is out of the shadow, out completely. What does that mean is everything that came up for you during the Venus retrograde, we were looking so much about the relationship with yourself, relationship with oneself. What do I want? What are the relationships in my life that I want to continue with, and the relationships that I don't want to continue with, and the relationships that maybe need some adjustments, some conversations that need to happen. This Venus in retrograde that we had was a massive invitation for self-love and to really up-level your self-love, your love for yourself. And everything in your life that doesn't really match that, that's what we were looking at. It needs to go, or it needs to be adjusted. developing that unconditional love for ourselves, developing compassion for ourselves. And now when Venus is coming out of retrograde and Venus is still in the sign of Aries, it's really time to put things in action. You know, if you haven't done that yet, maybe you had some realizations, and let's face it, the last few weeks, the last, I would say, month and a half, 45, 50 days, let's say the last couple months, okay? A lot of revelations, a lot of realizations. Some of you may have taken the action steps already. Some of you may have not. Maybe you had a realization about a relationship. Like, this needs to end or whatnot. And you've been still quite hesitant or afraid to take the step, to make the move, to take action on what you, and it doesn't have to be just relationships, whatever it is in your life that you came to a place of like, this is what I want. This is what I want. Being very clear, this is what I want, this is what I desire. Okay, I have this clarity. Things are a lot more clear now. Now it's the time. Venus is coming out of the shadow in the sign of Aries. That's the initiator. It's the masculine energy that takes action. Venus in the sign of Aries is very much, it is a great combination of the feminine within you, like knowing what I want, my heart, what I really want in my heart, not ego, not thinking about it, not being stuck in one way, but in my heart, what do I really want? And then the masculine comes in, the courage of Aries comes in, boom, and I'm going to follow it. I'm going to take action. Why is that? The North Node in Leo, it's time to shine. It's time to really live my own purpose and my own truth and what I'm here to do. And so it's really awesome that Venus is coming out of the shadow, more courage, more ability to take action if you haven't done that yet, in whatever it is. And maybe it's just your creativity. Maybe it's you realize, you know what, I really want to create whatever it is. And now you're getting this sense of motivation and courage. You're like, okay, this is the step that I need to take in order to make this happen. So that's Venus coming out of shadow, and then Mercury. Now this is really incredible, you guys. Mercury coming out of shadow on the 20th, 2 days after Venus comes out of shadow, Mercury comes out of shadow. Mercury just moves a lot faster, so he comes out of retrograde, and then quickly after he comes out of shadow, where Venus takes a little bit more time. She is the feminine queen, takes her time. Mercury is like zip, zip, zip really quickly. So Mercury comes out of shadow on the 20th, the exact same day that the sun moves into the sign of Gemini. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So we're having a lot of that mercurial energy. I'm going to talk about that in a moment and what it means. But today, in a few hours actually, Mercury right now is at the last degrees of Aries, 29 degrees of Aries, about to finish. It's very intense. You might feel that intensity, wanting to act. Don't be too impulsive though. I would give it a couple of days here, with Venus coming out of shadow, to really take the action. Because if you move too quickly right now, may regret some impulsive decisions. So give it a couple of days to really click in and then make a move. But Mercury is moving into Taurus tomorrow, or in a few hours. So that's going to stabilize a lot. If you've been feeling that your mind was kind of like on fire, things are going to slow down in a good way. Just like feel very stable. And it's good to have clarity, and it's good to have courage, and to mix that with stability, with the stability of the mind. Something to be aware of though with Mercury going into Taurus is to not to be too stubborn, because you may have received some realization and revelations and you think like there's just one way. I'm going to just be stuck in that one way. Just be aware of that. There might be other options. So just be aware of not being too stubborn, not being too fixed and stuck in one way. But nevertheless, we are going to receive more stability from Mercury going into Taurus, which is a beautiful time for creation. Taurus is springtime, creation and beauty, lots and lots of beauty, and to connect with that energy of beauty, the beauty within you, and the beauty of life. The sun is finishing her cycle in Taurus, and the sun is going to move into Gemini on the 20th, the same day that Mercury goes into shadow. So great time for connections too. Great time to have conversations. great time to connect your mind with your heart, because everything still applies. You know, we opening our heart, we receiving all these understandings about ourselves and life and which direction I want to move to. And then you want to bring your mind into that as well, and connecting your mind with your heart. You know, for some of you it's easier than for others. You know, maybe something doesn't make sense. Maybe you feel something in your heart and it doesn't make sense mentally, it doesn't make sense intellectually, and I want to invite you to not be stuck on the idea that it always needs to make sense. All right? And the sun moving into Gemini with Mercury coming out of shadow, things can feel very like, you know, all over the place. But it's good that we have Mercury in Taurus, like I said, to give you that stability, through the cycle of Gemini when the sun is in Gemini, and we're going to have a new moon in Gemini at the beginning of June. It's important to always stay centered and to stay clear and grounded, so you don't just, you know, make decisions too quickly that you may regret later. So overall, this is a wonderful, the next couple of weeks here in May are very powerful, are very, very, very powerful, moving your creations forward, moving maybe things that you've been wanting to do for so long, you've been wanting to create for so long, or you've been wanting to be for so long. This is such a great time to move forward with it, and to fully shine unapologetically. Put aside what you concern about other people, what they're going to think, what they're going to say, what they're going to, you know, believe about me. It doesn't matter. Follow your heart and let your mind catch up with that. Let your mind catch up with your own heart, with your knowing of who you are. Even if it doesn't make sense, you know, eventually it will click. Eventually it will make sense. Mercury is approaching the sun. It's getting closer and closer to the sun. So this is good news. You know, the mind is definitely catching up to your own purpose and what it is that you know that you're here to do, even if it doesn't make sense. Okay, and it will start making more and more and more sense the more you practice following your own heart and following your own truth, and let your inner child come out and play and be joyful and celebrate who you are and celebrate life and celebrate the beauty of who you are and the beauty of life. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are interested and would like to know more about the work that I do in the world, if you're interested in a personal reading, then please go to my website, noalakshmi.com, for your soul signature reading. And also, if you are interested to work with me one-on-one on a more consistent basis, taking your life to the next level physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, check out my website, noalakshmi.com. I will see you next time. I will be here next week. Again, thank you so much for joining me. If you are into these videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I always appreciate that. Share these videos with those that you feel can benefit from this message. I appreciate the support. Sending you so much love, so much light. Stay awesome and stay beautiful as always. I will see you next time. Sat Nam.